Gary Larson, who wrote one of the best single-panel comics, in my opinion, chooses to see the world in a unique, fresh, and creative way. He turns things upside down and all around, and dare I say it, probably has a lot of fun with life. One of my favorite cartoons is the dog yelling from the back seat of the car, bragging really to his friends as his owner drives away. Ha ha ha, Biff, guess what? After we go to the drugstore and the post office, I'm going to the vet's to get tutored. Granted, this sweet pup's choice to have a positive attitude comes mostly from ignorance. But the truth of the matter is this: the choices we make every single day allow us to live our best, most positive lives. Our choices determine our reality. Those we consciously make in our minds and our hearts can put us on a path towards living a more spirit-led, compassionate life, which for all of you is saying a lot because you're pretty amazing souls as it is. Louise Hay lived from 1926 to 2017. She believed that mental patterns and beliefs can manifest physically in the body. She taught that by changing our thoughts and beliefs, we can heal emotional and physical ailments. Her work emphasized self-love, emotional and positive affirmations, and the power of the mind-body connection. I have her book entitled Trust Life. It's a compilation of 365 of her affirmations, one for each day, pulled together after she transitioned. On August 6th, her entry read as follows: "We are light. We are spirit. We are wonderful, capable beings. All of us. And it is time for us to acknowledge that we create our own reality. If we want to change our reality, then it's time for us to change our minds. We do this by choosing to think and speak in new and positive ways. I learned a long time ago that if I would change my thinking, I would change my life. Changing our thinking is really dropping our limitations. We begin to understand that we are already perfect, whole, and complete. We are already perfect, whole, and complete. Let those words settle into your heart. Perfect, whole, and complete. This is reality. The illusion is that we are broken, that you don't matter, that you need fixing. The reality is that you are perfect, whole, and complete. So often we get stuck in that rat-trappy thought or belief that life is happening to us. We know it's not true, but we go unconscious and boom, we're in it. Or maybe you don't, but I know I do. I get a flat tire, boom. Oh, why me, why now, I don't have time for this. Or when I started teaching yoga at my new studio, the manager forgot to announce my new class, and so only few people showed up to it. I mean, granted, it was at 5:45 in the morning, so there's that. But my first reaction was, I put so much time into that and only a few people showed up. Instead of, how beautiful that I had such an intimate class. But there is another way. Between last October and January, I lost 2 dear friends, my uncle, my aunt, my sweet dog Cora, and my mom. I know. And then my boyfriend broke up with me 2 weeks after my mom died. I could easily have gone into life is happening to me. I could have gone blamey into the why me victim mentality. But somehow I didn't. Somehow I chose life. I felt my feelings. I was in the moment and I connected to spirit. I experienced my grief and all it had to teach me. And that's what today's talk is about. Choosing life, choosing the reality of life and wholeness rather than the illusion of brokenness and suffering. Making decisions about life that will uplift us rather than tearing us down. The choices we make about our lives will have an impact on the lives of us and everyone around us. Did you know we make about 35,000 decisions every single day? 35,000 decisions. That's crazy. Many of those are subconscious, but that boils down to about 1 every 2 seconds. Think about that. We make so many choices. If we can be conscious and aware, intentional about the choices we make, the big ones, holy wow. And I hesitate actually to just focus on the big ones because even the small ones we make matter. But for the purpose of today's talk, I'll focus on some of the larger themes. The overriding choice that comes to my mind, of course, is the choice to connect with spirit. Do you have a conscious practice that helps you connect to spirit every single day? Prayer, meditation, journaling, talking to friends, hiking, whatever it is, by setting yourself up every day to connect to spirit, you are raising your vibration and creating that ripple effect that affects everyone around you. What do you do that helps you connect into spirit every single day? Think about that. Beyond that, what does it mean to intentionally choose a spirit-filled life? I think it means making trickle-down choices every day, choices that are in alignment with our highest selves. Because we have so much power, we don't even realize it. We can change the trajectory of our lives. We can make a difference in the lives of others just by how we choose to see a situation, how we react, and how we decide to express ourselves. So let's talk about the choice to notice our thoughts. Oh my gosh, our thoughts can get in the way. The average person has between 12,000 and 60,000 thoughts a day. Now that's quite a range, but they say between 75% and 80% of those thoughts are negative. That's way too much stinking thinking. And we do that without even realizing it. But if we wake up every single day and make a conscious choice to notice our thoughts, and pay attention to where our minds lead us, that can have a huge impact on our lives and on everyone we encounter. I had a therapist tell me once, your mind does not always want the best for you. And that has really stuck with me. My thoughts can be filled with judgments about myself and about others, doubts about my capabilities or the outcome of whatever situation I'm in. How is this helpful? It's not. It leads me to the illusion of who I am rather than to my truth. So making the choice every single day to notice my thoughts and change them brings me closer to spirit and completely alters the course of my day, my life. My mom had Alzheimer's. I moved in with my parents in 2020 to help take care of her. And that was a beautiful and life-altering experience. We had some incredibly tough times when I was growing up. She was really hard on me about my weight when I was overweight in high school and college. And her messages about me, I internalized those for over 30 years. So when she got Alzheimer's, I could have easily chosen to see her and think about her in a completely negative way. As someone I held a grudge about, as a woman who was confused and hid things around the house, who repeated herself over and over until finally she just mumbled, who shuffled her feet and took forever to get into the car. And given our earlier relationship, those could easily have been the thoughts I chose to think about her. But those were only the illusion. Because as my mom got more and more into her illness, as she got more lost in the disease, I actually gained more of her. What I saw, what I gained, the reality was pure love. A mom who loved me unconditionally. She may have thought there were two Brooks, but as she said one time, that just means there are more of you to love. We created a bond that was filled with pure tenderness and connection, a connection that went deeper than any diagnosis or history, something that was so powerful and palpable. That relationship, that love was real, but I had to make that choice. The choice to be open to seeing her as love rather than as lost and confused. I had to tap into my divine self, to connect to spirit and ask for help when times got hard. And they did. They got really hard. It was a choice. Every single time it was that choice. I had to catch myself, my thoughts, when I was tempted to be negative. I had to remind myself that she was love and light and divine. But our reality was life-changing. What about the choice to choose love over fear? This is a big one, and it comes up all over the place. It is a way we can plant ourselves firmly in reality instead of getting stuck in the illusion. Let's look at our own lives and at how we can choose love over fear so that we can be the love we are, rather than hiding behind judgment or blame or all those other things that come out of fear. Marianne Williamson believes, she reminds us that choosing love over fear is a shift in perception from a blaming thought to a blessing thought, from a judgmental thought to an accepting thought, and from a grievance to an acceptance of what is. Once again, it's paying attention to our thoughts. It's choosing reality over the illusion time and again. She also believes that choosing love over fear is strongly tied to forgiveness, reminding us that all minds are connected, that forgiveness is when I know only love is real. Isn't that so right on? When we choose love over fear, we are connecting to our highest self and recognizing our inherent goodness. In the goodness of all, we are allowing ourselves to hold the high watch and seeing the divinity in ourselves and others. We are not sinking to the lowest level. We are rising to our highest selves. I have an example from my own life. I recently learned that my little brother is an alcoholic. It's serious. In August, he ended up in the hospital with a .319 blood alcohol level. And then 3 weeks later, he was back in the hospital with a life-threatening illness called Wernicke's encephalopathy. This is a condition that affects his brain and his nervous system, causing memory loss, delirium, confusion, and mobility issues, many of which the doctors say are permanent. For quite a while, I went into fear, into the illusion that my brother is sick and the situation is dire and broken. I grieved the loss of my little brother. I kept thinking about this talk, I'm talking about choosing love over fear. I'm talking about choosing love over fear. But it didn't help. The fear was plaguing me. I mean, a week ago, we had to move my 53-year-old brother into memory care. But I finally woke up, and I started once again to see him through the eyes of love, of spirit. I made a choice. I see him as God sees him. As the love that he is, as a divine being. I am choosing love over fear. Making sure his kids are safe. Loving him because I see him. He's my little Robbie. I don't see his illness. No, that's not true. I'll be honest. I see his illness, but I see him. I see the love that he is. I can only do that if I choose into love. I don't know what his recovery will look like. I mean, last week he handed me a blanket thinking it was a puppy dog. But he will always be the love of spirit. This is a choice. It's a choice. I still have my moments, but when I do, I connect to spirit. And I remember that I am love, not fear. That fear stands for false evidence appearing real. And that we can all blessedly choose the higher path. When in your life have you consciously chosen love over fear? Are there places where you can now choose love over fear? Where you can invite love to the table? Where else do our choices help us stay grounded in reality? My favorite one, when I make joyfully every day, is gratitude. Susan Mazzaroli says, gratefulness is setting of the heart, one I can choose like a wavelength on the radio. And it is. My wavelength tries to appreciate everything, from my honey cup tea with an inch of steamed oat milk, to a glorious sunrise, to my dear friends, to my blessed relationship with Spirit. We all know this. Gratitude raises our vibration and keeps us focused on the goodness that is always available to us. But it also helps us stay grounded in reality. Gratitude pulls us into the present moment. Often our minds want to drift into the past, into the what ifs, or into the future, what might happen. This mental time travel pulls us out of the here and now, which is the only reality that we have. When we consciously focus on the energy of appreciation, we are training our brains to notice what's real and good, rather than on what's missing. This helps us counteract our brain's natural negativity bias, which often goes looking for problems, the illusion, and isn't where we want to spend our energy. And I don't think that's the reality we want to choose for ourselves. Finally, we can choose to be accepting and non-judgmental. The Dalai Lama reminds us, if you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito in the room. And it's true. We could choose to see people cutting us off in traffic as jerks, or people in bad moods as grumpy, or we can choose to be loving and kind, to bless others and choose to see the best in people wherever we go. to be forgiving and loving and assume positive intent. People are doing the best they can with whatever they have, and we get to decide how we respond. By choosing to live this way, we make a huge difference in the lives of those around us. When we live with kindness, love, acceptance, compassion, and generosity of spirit, it lifts people up. It can't help but change how others experience any given situation. Plus, life is so much more enjoyable when we choose to see the best in people instead of assuming the worst. When we free ourselves from judgments and instead let spirit be our eyes, the reality we embody is so powerful and full. And so it is. Our choices create the reality we desire. The choice to connect to spirit, to notice our thoughts, to choose love over fear, to be grateful, and to be non-judgmental. Gary Larson, Marianne Williamson, Susan Masroli, and the Dalai Lama are all examples of how this practice makes a difference, not only in our own lives, but in the lives of those around us. You all make a difference by the choices you make. I've seen it. From the moment I stepped in here on August 24th to get a sense of your community, I felt the love. The reality you have created here through your choice to be opening, inviting, and welcoming, to provide Reiki and prayer after service, have amazing greeters and music and platform assistants, an incredible community. You are love personified. So let's all go out there and remember to make choices that make us feel alive in spirit and with each other and fully connected to the reality we want to live. And so as we move into meditation, let's all close our eyes if that feels comfortable. And as we breathe in the love that we are, we quiet our minds and connect to the spirit within. Spirit who breathes us and is us. Spirit who knows us and loves every single ounce of us. And we can rest in that assurance, relaxing into our bodies as we melt into today's meditation. We start at our feet, feeling them grounded into the earth that gives so much of herself to us every day. Breathing up into our legs, we find gratitude for how they carry us to where we want to go. Expanding our breath into our bellies, our core, our torsos, our hearts. We notice how Spirit's presence is us. We relax our shoulders, let ourselves soften as we focus on our breath of life. We feel into our heads, our minds that are connected to our hearts. And it is in this holy space we know we are not alone. We are accompanied by the divine presence within this silence. And in this moment of silence, we ask ourselves, what choices can I make to allow myself to live fully? Thank you, Spirit, for this time we've had together, for the love that fills this room, for the opportunity to make choices that will allow us to live our fullest, best lives. And so it is. Amen.